Recap: Renegade Immortal Chapter 43, Chapter Bakar. Before Wang Lin, coiling upon the earth like a living calamity, lay a centipede of terrifying proportions. Its body stretched a full 100 feet in length, each segment glistening with a dark, venomous sheen. The aura it exuded was not merely that of a beast, but of concentrated poison gathered over countless years. One glance was enough to understand. The toxin within this creature had long surpassed anything ordinary mortals could imagine, yet Wang Lin did not recoil. Centipedes, to him, they were not unfamiliar creatures. In the quiet days of his childhood, before the winds of fate carried him onto the path of cultivation, the children of his village would often catch centipedes for amusement. Some would toss them into baskets, others would use them to feed their chickens. It was a crude game, but one filled with laughter. Of course, there were times when carelessness led to pain. Occasionally, someone would be bitten. But even then, it was never anything too serious. A simple rinse with plenty of water, followed by a few days of rest, and the poison would fade away like a passing storm. There had even been a time when Wang Lin himself gathered centipedes. Not for play, but for something far more important: medicine. He still remembered the village doctor's words, how the venom of a centipede, when used correctly, could transform from poison into cure. Back then, his family had been poor. His father, unable to afford proper materials for his work, had no choice but to climb the mountain himself, chopping wood under the biting cold winds. The chill seeped into his bones, eroding his strength day by day. Until one day, he nearly lost his life. At that desperate moment, it was the doctor's prescription, infused with centipede poison, that pulled him back from the brink of death. Though his father survived, the illness left its shadow behind. Whenever the skies wept and rain fell upon the land, the old wounds would awaken. Pain would grip his father's body like invisible chains, unrelenting and cruel. And each time, the remedy still required centipede venom. Thus, Wang Lin had once spent countless days searching through the wild, catching centipedes with his own hands, just to ease his father's suffering. Those memories? They had never faded. Now, standing before this monstrous centipede, Wang Lin gently stroked his chin, his gaze thoughtful, calculating. If the poison of those small creatures had been enough to ease his father's condition, then what of this? What of a centipede whose body spanned 100 feet, whose venom had been refined through years beyond count? Perhaps, just perhaps, this poison could sever the root of his father's illness entirely. But even as hope flickered within his heart, caution followed closely behind. This centipede was simply too large. Compared to it, Wang Lin was but a speck. To attempt extracting its poison recklessly would be no different from courting death. He might not only fail to obtain the venom, but lose his life in the process. As these thoughts churned within his mind, a memory surfaced. A method. An ancient technique, passed down through generations. A way to harvest centipede poison without direct confrontation. One needed only to refine a certain medicinal pill, feed it to the centipede. And once consumed, the creature would naturally expel its venom. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, he turned his gaze away from the colossal beast and began walking toward the pill house. Within the sect, that place held the greatest variety of medicinal ingredients, everything he would need to create such a pill. Moreover, it had been 4 years since he last saw Wang Hao. Perhaps it was time to see how his old companion had fared. By the time Wang Lin arrived, dusk had already descended. The sky dimmed, and shadows stretched long across the ground. As he approached the pill house, he noticed a figure slipping quietly out from the side door. It was Wang Hao. His movements were cautious, almost furtive. The moment Wang Hao saw Wang Lin, his expression changed. He quickly raised a finger to his lips, signaling for silence, then gestured for Wang Lin to follow him outside. Wang Lin's brows furrowed slightly. Curious, he extended his divine sense inward. Within the pill house, he detected the presence of the third elder, Lu Yunji. Standing before a pill furnace, his expression grave and focused, as if immersed in some critical process. Understanding dawned. Wang Lin said nothing. He quietly followed Wang Hao away from the building. Only after they had put some distance between themselves and the pill house did Wang Hao suddenly grab Wang Lin's arm, and without another word, he began to run. They ran swiftly through the darkening paths, their footsteps echoing faintly against the earth. Only after covering a considerable distance did Wang Hao finally slow down, bending slightly as he caught his breath. His chest rose and fell rapidly, his breathing uneven. He cast a wary glance back toward the pill house, as though fearing pursuit. Then, turning to Wang Lin, he spoke hurriedly, his eyes filled with both anxiety and a flicker of hope. Wang Lin, I heard you went through the intense training 4 years ago. What layer have you reached now? Wang Lin answered calmly, the 3rd layer. But what is going on here? As he spoke, his divine sense had already swept across Wang Hao's body. What he discovered caused his expression to shift slightly. Wang Hao had indeed reached the 1st layer of qi condensation, but the spiritual energy within him, it was wrong. It did not flow smoothly through the meridians as it should. Instead, it moved along a strange, twisted path. More than that, each time the energy completed a cycle through Wang Hao's body, it would siphon away a trace of life essence from his organs, absorbing it, devouring it. If this continued, it would not take long before Wang Hao's life essence was completely drained. Death would follow soon after. Wang Lin's voice turned serious. Wang Hao, what is this? Wang Hao gave a bitter smile. You've already seen through it, haven't you? Wang Lin nodded. Tell me everything. Wang Hao clenched his fists tightly, his knuckles whitening as he ground his teeth. Back then, when we went to the exchange, he began, his voice low and filled with resentment, I couldn't get the Foundation establishment pill. I regretted it deeply. He paused, his expression darkening. Later, my master, Lu Yunjie, gave me a Foundation establishment pill as a reward for being his helper. At the time, I was overjoyed. He even gave me a cultivation method, saying it was superior to the sect's. I didn't suspect anything, and began cultivating it. Wang Lin's heart tightened. Let me see that method. Without hesitation, Wang Hao pulled out a thread-bound book and tossed it to him. As Wang Lin caught it, Wang Hao continued, his tone heavy. But after 2 years of practice, my body began to weaken. Although I can condense spiritual power, I can't use it at all. Later, I secretly bribed a disciple to investigate it for me. His voice dropped further, laced with bitterness. That cultivation method is called the fire furnace trial. Wang Lin opened the book, page after page passed before his eyes. The deeper he read, the more his expression changed. Shock, disbelief, anger. This method was completely different from the orthodox 3 layers of qi condensation. Instead of refining the body through internal circulation of spiritual energy, it gathered spiritual energy into a swirling vortex. A whirlpool of power that would grow larger and larger as more energy was accumulated. Eventually, if the cultivator survived long enough, this vortex would expand beyond the body, drawing in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to refine the body externally, achieving something akin to qi condensation. In essence, orthodox cultivation refined the body from within. But this was a reckless, domineering method, a gamble against fate. If fortune favored you, the vortex would expand beyond your body before your physical form collapsed, allowing you to achieve qi condensation. But if not, your body would be destroyed first. A path where death lurked at every step. Wang Hao's voice trembled with suppressed fury. The sect archives have records of this technique. It came from the extinct country of Lu. Out of 10 cultivators, only 2 survive. It all depends on luck. Wang Lin's gaze turned icy. What does Lu Yunjie gain from this? Wang Hao's eyes darkened, a cold light flickering within. He wants to use me as a pill furnace. His voice was filled with despair. When I got the information from that disciple, it clearly stated, the moment someone dies while cultivating the fire furnace trial, if a special method is used, a pill can be refined from their corpse, one that extends lifespan by 3 years. Wang Lin drew in a sharp breath. Cruel. Too cruel. To treat a living person as nothing more than material for alchemy. Even among cultivators, this was a path drenched in sin. Wang Hao lowered his head, his expression filled with bitterness. I don't dare tell the other elders, or even the sect leader. I am Lu Yunji's helper. According to the sect's rules, my life no longer belongs to me. It belongs to him. If I had known, I would never have agreed. A hollow laugh escaped his lips. But regret is useless now. He clenched his fists again, his nails digging into his palms. Lu Yunji already knows that I've uncovered the truth. He threatened me, using my parents. I have no choice. Every day I'm forced to consume several qi-gathering pills. The vortex within me grows stronger, larger. He lifted his head, his eyes filled with resignation. I've calculated it. At this rate, I only have about 1 year left to live. Silence fell between them, heavy, oppressive, like the stillness before a storm. Wang Lin fell into silence for a long moment, his gaze steady yet distant, as if weighing countless invisible threads of fate. At last he spoke, his voice calm but carrying quiet concern. What do you plan to do? Is there anything that requires my help? Wang Hao let out a long, weary sigh. The sound carried the bitterness of someone who had already glimpsed the end of his road. You're only at the 3rd layer, he said, shaking his head slowly. There's no way you can help me. Lu Yunji has already reached the 6th layer, and not only that, he can refine pills. The elders dote on him because of it. He paused, his expression darkening. I've already given up. His eyes lifted toward Wang Lin, filled with a mixture of sorrow and sincerity. These past years in the Heng Yue sect, you're my only friend, my only brother. His voice tightened. If one day you grow strong, you must avenge me. As the final words left his mouth, Wang Hao's fists clenched tightly, the knuckles whitening with suppressed rage and helplessness. Wang Lin stared at him in silence. After a moment, he gave a slight nod. Wang Hao forced a bitter smile, as if trying to brush aside the heaviness of the moment. Brother Taizhu, did you come to find me for something? While I'm still breathing, I'll help you however I can. He hesitated briefly, then added, Do you need qi-gathering pills? I have quite a few. Wang Lin looked at him quietly. The request he had originally intended to make, about the materials he needed, faded from his mind. He shook his head. He wanted to help Wang Hao, but the opponent stood at the 6th layer. Even with his unusually strong divine sense, even with over 20 years of practicing the attraction technique, Wang Lin had never once fought another cultivator. He could not measure his own strength. He could not say with certainty that he could win. He could not even say that he would survive. Wang Hao saw his silence and sighed once more. He brushed dust from his clothes with a hollow gesture. Brother Taizhu, your talent surpasses mine. Thinking back to the day we took the entrance test, it feels like a distant dream. His voice softened. Time truly passes too quickly. With a final sigh, Wang Hao turned away. His back seemed heavier than before, weighed down by unseen burdens. Step by step, he walked off, his figure gradually disappearing from Wang Lin's sight. Wang Lin remained where he stood, his eyes lifting toward the vast sky. In the world of cultivation, the strong devour the weak. He repeated the thought silently, letting it echo deep within his heart. And at that very moment, a sudden clarity dawned upon him. This was not the kind of enlightenment that shattered bottlenecks or raised cultivation in an instant. No surge of power flowed through his meridians. No transformation shook his soul. Instead, it was as if unseen knowledge poured directly into his mind. What changed was not his strength, but his understanding. He had glimpsed, for the first time, the true nature of the cultivation world. Cruel, ruthless, unforgiving. To walk this path, one must think like a cultivator. Wang Lin murmured softly, a faint sigh escaping his lips. Is this truly the mindset one must have? That the strong prey upon the weak? His figure flickered and vanished from where he stood. As he made his way back toward the herb garden, his expression suddenly shifted. His gaze turned toward the guest quarters where the disciples of the Xuandao sect resided. A flicker of curiosity crossed his eyes. Then, without hesitation, he changed direction and walked toward them. Before he even stepped inside, an exaggerated voice rang out, loud and flamboyant. Let me tell you, fellow brothers of the Heng Yue sect, this flying sword in my hand is no ordinary item. It is one of the peerless treasures of the Xuandao sect. Its name is the Noon Money Sword. The voice grew even more dramatic. If you don't believe me, go and ask around. Do you know how much effort I went through to steal this treasure? If any of you wish to purchase it, you must first swear an oath, not to use it in the exchange 3 days from now. Otherwise, I refuse to sell it. A voice from the crowd immediately responded, filled with skepticism. Is it really as amazing as you claim? I, Li Shan, would never deceive anyone, the speaker declared proudly. If you don't believe me, then forget it. I can sell this sword anywhere. Wang Lin stepped closer, He had already found the gathering unusual. Disciples from both sects had crowded together here. As he approached, he saw the source of the commotion. A young man, roughly in his 20s, stood at the center. He wore the robes of the Xuandao sect and held a sword formed from linked coins, faintly glowing with a blue light. His posture was bold, his tone overflowing with exaggerated confidence. Around him, the other Xuandao sect disciples wore strange expressions, clearly uncomfortable. At last, one of them could no longer endure it. He coughed lightly and spoke. "What junior brother Li Shan says is not entirely wrong. The Noon Money Sword is indeed a treasure of our sect." He paused, then added bluntly, "However, the one in his hand is a fake. That said, it still has some minor uses." The Hengyue sect disciples began murmuring among themselves. Soon, a cultivator at the 5th layer stepped forward. Wang Lin recognized him. This was Disciple Zhao. Disciple Zhao approached Li Shan, and the two spoke quietly for a time. In the end, they completed a transaction, both wearing satisfied smiles. Among the inner disciples, a few who understood the truth sneered. "It's nothing more than an iron sword mixed with scraps of spirit gold, and yet someone dares to sell it? It seems the Xuandao sect is only worth this much." Li Shan immediately shot back without hesitation. "What you say is incorrect. Brother, even my senior apprentice brother admitted it was a fake, yet someone from your Hengyue sect still bought it. Some things are worth purchasing simply for novelty." The disciple who had bought the sword laughed heartily. "Brother Li Shan, you're mistaken. I didn't buy it to admire. I'm giving it to my father." He grinned. "My family raises pigs. This sword is perfect for slaughtering them." Li Shan showed no anger. Instead, he smiled even more brightly. "Since you've already bought it, what you do with it is none of my concern." He waved his hand casually. "Now then, I have another treasure." His eyes gleamed. "It's called the invincible dark stinking thunderball." He raised his voice proudly. This is a true treasure. I'm not exaggerating. In fact, I can even demonstrate it for you on the spot." With that, he produced a black sphere and hurled it toward a nearby wall. Boom! A dull explosion echoed. Cracks spread across the wall, and a cloud of dark mist billowed outward from the point of impact. Almost instantly, a foul, nauseating stench filled the air. Li Shan stood there, hands on his hips, his face brimming with pride. "Well, what do you think? This invincible, dark, stinking thunderball is my personal hidden weapon. Its power may not be great, but if it hits someone, the sludge it releases cannot be washed away, even by me." He leaned forward slightly, lowering his voice with a mischievous grin. "And the smell? Ah, the smell! I crafted it using dozens of different beasts. Anyone who encounters it will be utterly disgusted." The crowd fell silent. Then, their expressions froze. Several female disciples immediately covered their noses and retreated a few steps, their faces pale with revulsion. Even Wang Lin was taken aback. He quietly extended his divine sense, and as it touched the lingering substance, his expression became strange, almost indescribable. Around them, the Xuandao sect disciples shifted uncomfortably. This Li Shan. Within their sect, he was infamous for creating bizarre and troublesome items. No one dared provoke him. Not out of respect, but out of fear of being struck by one of his foul creations. The invincible black sludge stink bomb was particularly notorious. In secret, its reputation nearly rivaled that of the sect's genuine treasures. "So, what do you all think?" Li Shan said, putting on a serious expression. "This time, I've revealed one of my hidden trump cards. But let me repeat, if you want to buy it, you must swear not to use it in the exchange 3 days from now. Otherwise, I will not sell it." Outwardly, he appeared solemn, but inwardly, he was laughing wildly. "You fools! The more I forbid you from using it, the more you'll want to use it during the exchange. Ha! When that happens, the entire arena will be in chaos." His eyes sparkled with excitement. "The elders will surely praise me, perhaps even reward me with a few magical treasures." With that thought, his enthusiasm surged. His voice rose once more as he began loudly promoting his wares, and the commotion only grew louder. Pasted text.